Chapter 37. Jiang Ziya visits Mount Kunlun. The universal ring flew through the air and smashed into Zhang Guifeng, breaking his left arm. He swayed perilously in the saddle but managed to keep his seat and fled. Nijia returned to the city. How did it go? Jiang Ziya asked. His left arm was wounded by my universal ring. Did he call your name? Yes, he did a few times, but I simply ignored him. Nijia replied. All the generals were puzzled as to why Nijia did not fall from his wheels. Mortal beings all possess souls. Zhang Guifeng's art was to disperse the soul, so naturally, people fell when he called their names. Nijia, however, had been reincarnated from lotus flowers and had no soul. That was why Zhang Guifeng had no power over him. As both Zhang Guifeng and Feng Ling had been seriously wounded, they sent an urgent report to Grand Tutor Wen for reinforcements. Jiang Ziya had also been pondering over the situation. Though Nijia scored a victory, what can West Qi do if Zhao Ge sends a larger army? We're still in danger, he thought. He took a bath, changed his robes, and went to see King Wu. I've come to take my leave, Your Highness. I'm going to Mount Kunlun to see my master. The army beyond the city poses a grave threat to us, and no one can take your place. Prime Minister, don't be too long, King Wu urged. I'll be only 2 or 3 days, Jiang Ziya promised and then summoned Nijia. You and Wu Ji should do everything possible to guard the city during my absence. There's no need to engage Zhang Guifeng. I'll make further plans after my return. He left West Qi and rode invisibly on a dust cloud to the Unicorn Cliff, where he found the scenery there as enchanting as ever. It's been 10 years, but the scenery is still fresh and new. He sighed. Looking around, he saw that the clouds and haze in a riot of colors with the sun shining brilliantly behind. Cypress trees covered the mountains in a green cloak, and slender bamboos lay half-hidden in a light mist. Outside the Jade Emptiness Palace, exotic flowers bloomed and delicate grass exuded a sweet fragrance. Upon the peaks, peaches were just ripe, and before the caves, green herbs waved gracefully in the breeze. Fairy cranes could be heard calling high in the sky, and phoenixes danced, displaying their colorful feathers. White deer and black monkeys could be seen now and then among the trees, while black lions and white elephants roamed over the hillsides. A blessed land. A paradise. He passed Unicorn Cliff and walked to the Jade Emptiness Palace. He dared not enter but waited there patiently until White Crane Lad chanced to come out. White Crane Lad, would you please report my arrival to my master? I would like to see him, he addressed the lad. White Crane Lad entered the palace and knelt down before Heavenly Primogenitor. Jiangshang's waiting outside for your order. The immortal nodded his head. I've just been wanting to see him. When Jiang Ziya entered, he knelt down and greeted his master. May my master live forever. I'm delighted that you've come. I was telling the immortal of the South Pole to give you the list of creations. You must build a terrace of creation on Mount Qi and hang the list in it. Your life's mission is to be accomplished there. But Jiang Ziya remained on his knees. Zhang Guifeng's using his powerful sorcery to lay siege to West Qi. As my learning is negligible, I'm powerless against him. I beg you to show some compassion and help me out of this predicament. You're a prime minister now, enjoying wealth and power. How can I concern myself with every aspect of your work? As West Qi's guarded by a virtuous ruler, you needn't fear sorcerers at all. In times of emergency, men of great talent will appear of their own accord. There's no need to ask me for help. You may go now, his master replied. Jiang Ziya dared not make any further request and so left the Jade Emptiness Palace. But he had barely passed the gate when White Crane Lad hurried up from behind, calling. Uncle, Grand Master asks you to see him again. Jiang Ziya re-entered and knelt down. Keep my words in mind. After leaving here, don't answer anybody calling you from behind. If you do, West Qi will suffer from 36 invasions. There'll be a man waiting for you in the East Sea District. Be careful. You may go now. The immortal told him. As he left the palace, the immortal of the South Pole came to see him off. I came here to beg him for help. Jiang Ziya complained. But he's unwilling to help me. What shall one do now? This is all destined by heaven. The only thing now is not to answer anyone calling your name. I'm sorry that I can't escort you any further. Jiang Ziya walked to the unicorn cliff holding the list of creations in both hands. He was just about to get onto his dust cloud and ride off when he heard someone calling him from behind. Jiang Ziya, Jiang Ziya. So someone is calling me from behind. I mustn't answer him. He warned himself. The man behind called him again, but he still refused to reply. Prime Minister Jiang. The man shouted angrily. Jiang Shen. So unfeeling as to forget your old friends. Though you're Prime Minister, how can you ignore me, when we have been together for 40 years in the Jade Emptiness Palace? Why don't you answer when I've called so many times? Jiang Ziya could not help turning to look. He saw a man wearing a green scarf, a robe with long sleeves, and a pair of hemp sandals. He was carrying a glittering sword in his hand and a dried gourd on his back. It was Shen Gongbao, his fellow disciple at the Jade Emptiness Palace. Brother, I didn't know that it was you. Master told me not to answer any call from behind. I'm sorry if I've offended you. He explained. What's that in your hands? Shen Gongbao asked. It's the list of creations. Where are you going now? To West Qi to build a terrace to put this in. Which side are you on, brother? Jiang Ziya smiled. How can you be so absurd? I'm the Prime Minister of West Qi. Prince Wen entrusted me with the care of King Wu. 2/3 of the kingdom belongs to us already, and the 800 marquises are glad to make obeisance to us. I am helping King Wu in his effort to dethrone King Zhou and fulfill the wishes of heaven. Don't you know that the phoenix singing on Mount Qi is an omen of welcome for the new sage ruler? King Wu is as virtuous as Yao and Shun, and the kingly aura of the Shang dynasty is fading and will disappear in this generation. But why do you ask me such a peculiar question? In spite of your prediction, I'm going to leave this place right now and do my utmost to protect the Shang dynasty and King Zhou. Jiang Ziya. I'll do all I can to hinder you if you help West Qi. Shen Gongbao said angrily. How can you say that, brother? We must strictly obey Grand Master's orders. How dare you go against him? Jiang Ziya. Listen to me. You'd better come over and help me destroy West Qi. That way we can remain friends, and there'll be no bad feelings between us. It's the best for both of us, don't you think? Jiang Ziya was serious now. You're wrong, brother. What you suggest runs contrary to Grand Master's orders and to the will of heaven. It's absolutely out of the question. Jiang Ziya. Shen Gongbao grew even angrier. What powers do you have? You spent a mere 40 years here. But listen to what I can do. I can move mountains, stir up the oceans, subdue dragons and tigers, fly on a crane to the 9th heaven, plant lotus flowers in fire, and ride on auspicious light for thousands of years. There are your achievements, but I've got my own as well. One's success doesn't depend merely on the number of years one spent. Jiang Ziya objected. Jiang Ziya. Your magic doesn't go beyond the 5 elements. You know only how to move mountains and stir up seas, and that's all. Don't you know that when my head is cut off and thrown up into the air, it can wander for thousands of miles on a piece of red cloud? When it returns to my neck, I become a perfect whole, as before. Is that not wonderful? What can you do? You just brag about helping King Wu. You'd better burn that list and come with me to Zhaoge. You can be Prime Minister there too. Jiang Ziya was quite befuddled by Shen's words. The head is the most vital organ of the body, but he can cut it off, throw it into the air, let it tour for thousands of miles and then have it return to his neck as before. He thought and then said to Shin, "Brother, if you cut your head off, and it does return to your neck, I'll burn the list and go with you to Jiaoge. You must keep your promise." Shin Gongbao demanded. "A hero's promise is as weighty as Mount Tai. I won't break my word." Shin Gongbao took off his scarf. Raising his sword in his right hand, he grasped his hair with his left and cut his head off. His body remained erect. In a twinkling, he threw his head high up into the air. It whirled round and soared higher and higher. Jiang Ziya was naive. He watched in admiration as it disappeared. The immortal of the South Pole hadn't returned to the Jade Emptiness Palace straightway. He saw Shen Gongbao chasing Jiang Ziya to the Unicorn Cliff and then talking with him, gesticulating and stamping. Then he saw Shen's head fly high into the sky. Jiang Ziya's honest. He's being deceived by that wicked bastard. He thought and instantly called. "Where's White Crane Lad?" "Here I am, master." "Hurry. Transform yourself into a white crane at once, seize Shen's head and carry it to the South Sea." White Crane Lad immediately did as he was instructed. Watching the sky attentively, Jiang Ziya stamped his feet when he saw what was happening. "What shall we do?" A white cranes carried the head away. He cried. Unexpectedly, the immortal of the South Pole came up from behind him and slapped him vigorously on the back. He turned and saw the immortal. "Why have you come back again?" The immortal of the South Pole pointed at him and scolded. "You really are a fool. He's a sorcerer, but you're so easily taken in. If his head doesn't come back, he'll start bleeding and fall dead in 3 hours. Grandmaster told you not to answer if anyone called you from behind. Why did you answer him?"